Hi, today we're going to talk about easing the transition from active duty to military life, specifically focusing on the post-military family and the changes that they will have to go through. We have a lot of things that we're going to discuss, including the functional anxiety that's part of making this transition, the adjustment to change in income and lifestyle, the possible change in partner roles, change in healthcare, and different resources available to help you through this change. So at any time there's a major change in our life, there's a cause for excitement and anxiety. Oftentimes this anxiety serves a functional purpose. It helps to mobilize you, mobilize your family to help you through this change. It's something to not fear, but actually to utilize and to get you moving and making plans for the right direction. There's going to be a situation where you have to find the new helping agencies. When you're in the military, you become accustomed to the familiar helping agencies that are always there for you, such as the Military Family Readiness Center, the Key Spouses Network, and now you're going to have to find new places to get help outside of the military. So, that's also trying to figure out your new resources is going to be a source of stress. In addition, as a service member, they're going to have about 3 different jobs ongoing at one time. They're going to be doing their regular job, they're going to be trying to do family planning and out processing, and then they're going to be trying to find a new job, more than likely, unless they're retiring. So this is going to lead to possible stress in the family and some tension. That's normal. It's important to recognize that it's a stressful time and there will be tensions, and to become a team trying to find solutions for problems that may arise. One of the big things that's going to happen is there's going to have to be major decisions, and of course anytime there's a major decision, many people are affected. That can be a source of contention. So you want to make sure that you really talk about these with the family, consider all the things that you have to consider when making these major decisions. For example, should you move or should you stay? This is going to affect not only the spouse, but the children. You're going to have to think about many, many things, such as job opportunities in your local area, community resources, family, social supports, good schools. And so you really want to make sure you consider everything when you're making such a major decision. Make sure that what you and your spouse come up with is the right decision for the whole family. And understand that it may be difficult for your children or your spouse to accept the change in location, but make sure that you validate that and let them know that you understand that it's difficult, but you're going to approach it as a team. Another major change is a change in income, which may come with a change in lifestyle. Oftentimes this is positive because you have a retirement pay and then also you're working, and so your income may actually increase. But sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it decreases. And so you want to make sure that you are planning for this as soon as possible. And hopefully you have at least a year to plan out. But if you know that you're going to separate, you want to start planning as soon as you know that. So some of the things that you really want to do is sit down and make a budget with your partner and consider all the things that perhaps you didn't even think about before because they were part of your military pay, such as housing, utilities, healthcare. These are all things that often we don't ever include in a budget because they are given to us in our pay. Especially if you live in housing, base housing, then you really need to think about what the cost is for a mortgage or to rent a home. Make sure that you also plan for the fun, budget fun in there, and how much you think you're going to need to enjoy your life, so that you have planned for everything. And once you decide that, then you can make decisions about whether roles will have to change in the household. And sometimes this happens on a temporary basis, and sometimes this happens on a more permanent basis. The important thing is that you and your spouse and your family have discussed this, and that everyone on board, everyone that's going to be affected is on board and is okay with the plan going forward. When you're planning for a budget or for a change in your finances, you may want to seek assistance from a financial planner. And you can do that at your Military and Family Readiness Center before you transition out. Also, many churches in the community offer programs like that, or you can seek out the assistance of an independent financial planner in the community that then will be able to follow you outside of the transition too and continue to help you plan for retirement. So another thing that will occur with the change in partner role that ends up happening is you want to make sure that you're not just thinking about what you want to do in the future, but perhaps what your spouse wants to do in the future, because oftentimes they have been a big source of support for you in your military career. And so for you all, you really need to sit down and do some soul searching and decide, what is it that I want to do? What do I want to do for the rest of my life? And then make plans to make that happen. So, oftentimes this is a time to really think about education. Is this the right time for me to pursue something that I perhaps put on the back burner because of a military career, or that your spouse did because of a military career? And you can then utilize your educational benefits, for example, the post-9/11 GI Bill, to also help you through the financial transition and give you a source of income while you're investing in yourself, so that in the future your source of income will increase. So another thing that you want to make sure that you are addressing is the change in healthcare. So in the military, you never really have to think about your healthcare. If you're ill or your children are ill, an appointment is a phone call away. It may not be with the same physician, but you know that you're going to be able to see someone. So this is going to change, because you no longer will have someone just waiting for you at the end of the phone line until you determine who you have in your benefits. So if you are separating, the important thing to remember is the only time that you will have health care benefits is if you are being involuntarily separated, and that will be for a temporary time upon separation. If you're voluntarily separated, you will not have any health care upon leaving the military, with very few exceptions. So the biggest thing to think about is where your health care is going to be coming from for you and your family, because it's a big source of stress for families when they realize they have no health care coverage. So make sure you're thinking about, will I be covered, and will my family be covered by my spouse's work? Will I be using the Affordable Care Act? Will I be using COBRA? And plan for that, and make sure that you do that early, because oftentimes the earlier you do it, the less expensive it is. So make sure that you're thinking about those things, and then ask around for different referrals or different recommendations for specialty providers. Think about the specialists that you see currently in the military facility, and then ask for referrals into the community, so that you can already be established with new providers that will hopefully take the insurance that you will have upon retirement or separation. And make sure that you are talking to your primary care providers and your specialty providers to ensure that you have enough medication to get you through this transition, which often can take 3 to 6 months. So make sure that you're making plans for that. And then lastly, you want to think about resources that you will be needing. All of this is going to be very stressful. So if there are times when you feel like your family is really struggling, there are resources while you're active duty that you can turn to. For example, there are military and family life consultants that are usually based out of the Military and Family Readiness Center that you can always turn to help you with family functioning, and also for other things, as well as the military mental health clinics on your base can also provide some support. You may also want to turn to the actual Military Readiness Center to see if some of the issues you're having could be solved by one of the professionals there, for example, a financial advisor, or one of the transition assistance professionals that they have there. If you're a veteran, you can turn to Military One Source, and then of course there is the Veteran Crisis Line, which is 1-800-273-8255, or TALK, where you can talk to a credentialed person who will help you through times of crisis. If you would prefer to use a website, you can go to www.veteranscrisisline.net, where you will have the option of texting or chatting with someone if you prefer that over using the telephone, and where you can find many resources available to you to help you with the transition.
Military families have a lot to offer. They're typically more resilient than one would expect, even so they go through transitions all the time. When it becomes particularly interesting is at the point of transitioning out of the military service. The period of pre-retirement plays a big role, because you make decisions about where you want to live, what you want to do after retirement, and how you're going to achieve the goals that you may have had for a long time, but you didn't have a chance to really pursue. Education plays a major role in this. And it is well worth the time to start thinking early about what it is that makes you happy doing and what it is that you want to do with your life for the next 10, 20 years. Education then plays a role not only in consideration of the children and where they're at in their educational pathway, but also for the spouses. That is, for the active duty member about to become a veteran and for the spouse. If you think about all the opportunities afforded through military service and the benefits that come in terms of financial resources that can support you in achieving your educational goals, you have a truly wide range of opportunities. You can share these opportunities so that not only the person who is going to be the veteran can take advantage of them, but so can the spouses and the children. This can be split within the family in multiple ways. If you decide that you want to pursue formal education and get a degree in a field of your choice, it is also worth the time to shop around, to look at the institutions that may be offering degrees in the field that you seek, and to talk with the people who are advising you about the program at those institutions. You may find that there are opportunities to educate those who you are working with there about what military life really is and the opportunities it has afforded you. If you are thinking about a formal degree, then consider also that at the time of transitioning out of the military, you may already be at the location where you are planning to stay long-term then. This may be a first because for years you've only had 2 to 3 year opportunities to go anywhere and do anything. Now, if you are staying in a community, you can tackle degrees that may be 4 years in duration, or build a series of degrees that may include an undergraduate and a graduate degree, maybe a doctoral degree as well. The important thing is that you find the places where you can get the information up front that gives you a good way to decide about where you want to go.
As a Gold Star wife, we're transitioning from the military due to the death of our loved one. So in that transition, there's a lot of things that need to take place. But one of the things that we forget about as transitioning is that we have a lot of work to do, but at the same time, we still have a heavy burden of grief upon our shoulders. As we're grieving and going through the process of understanding this tremendous loss that happens in our lives, we still have the process of maybe relocating our families. We still need to find a place for our children, find a place for ourselves, find out where we fit in and where we belong. As a Gold Star wife, one of my major concerns was transitioning my son, my child, finding a place for him and helping him understand the loss of his father while serving in the military. As a Gold Star wife, we're also looking for places to not only to fit in outside of the military, but transitioning our lives. We're no longer an active duty family. However, we still are receivers of the benefits of health care, commissary privileges, ID cards, being able to access base and military facilities. So we're not fully within the civilian life, but we're not fully out of being in the military life at the same time. One of our primary concerns is as we are grieving, being able to walk through the process without that person that we loved and that we depended on so much. Finding a new home, finding new schools, transitioning maybe from one state to another, transitioning our children from one school system into another, and also finding a job for ourselves. Unlike being in the military, we now have the possibility for a permanent residence, and building our lives, finding a place for our children, and then finding that job for yourself as a military spouse is one of the many challenges that we face. I find that one of the things that helped me to be successful within my transition was finding other families and other military wives who are now widows to connect with, whether we connect through Facebook or through Twitter, or even getting together on a weekly, monthly basis, having lunch or having time together in the evening, even connecting our children. That support system was so increasingly important as a military widow. To be with other people, much like myself, who had gone through some of the same things that I had gone through. It was through the support system that I was able to find a lot of my strength, spending time with other ladies who maybe a little further down the road than I had been in their grief journey, who were able to guide me along, to hold my hand and let me know that things were going to be okay. As a military widow, I find that the military did an amazing job with helping us with that transition, coming alongside and guiding us through to help us with our spouse getting back either stateside or getting them to the proper burial, respectful and honorable burial, transitioning us as family members. Finding strength by connecting with other military widows, I think, was one of the best things that I could ever have done as a military wife, as a military widow. I found strength in being with them and communicating with them and finding camaraderie with a lot of the other ladies who had gone through some of the same things that I had gone through. There have been challenges along the way. Through the year, every year gets a little bit better. Every year is a little bit different. And you find that every year you'll get a little bit stronger. You'll find that you'll be able to do more within the community. You'll be able to do more with other Gold Star families and other Gold Star wives and other Gold Star children. And you'll find that you may even decide to step forward and you've come so far in your journey where you want to help others. Right now I have come a pretty good way, and I'm now the president of the Lone Star chapter here in San Antonio. And I feel like I'm able to help other Gold Star wives who are where I was and help them to push forward in their journey as well. As a Gold Star wife, there are a lot of resources that are available within the community. I find that there's a lot of other veteran service organizations that reach out to us for support, whether it's at your local USO or it's with the other veteran service at the VFW. They've been amazing. And also with other organizations that maybe help with our children, help with family members, help with parents. So there's a lot of places out there that would love to reach out and help, to be support, to be there for military families. As a military widow, after my husband first died, everything just seemed so overwhelming. The grief was so heavy. My heart hurt so bad, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to do from one moment to the next. But as time went by, I realized that I was getting a little bit better. The pain and the grief never truly go away. But every day you do get better, and every day you're a little bit stronger. And so understanding that it's not always going to hurt so bad. Some days, like I said, will be worse than others, but it won't always hurt so bad. As a military widow, the military does offer services. We are also eligible for services as well. So when it comes to military, they offer mental health providers for ourselves and for children. And in many cases, the cost is covered. They offer assistance through the VA for purchasing a home if you need to do that. I needed to do that. The military offers assistance with maybe emergency relief. If you're having some type of issues with financial, they have that available as well. When I have an opportunity to meet a brand new widow, someone who has just lost her husband, someone who's just starting this grief journey, not knowing where to turn to, what to do, or where to go, I always remind them to just breathe, to just be where you are, try your best to settle your mind. I know there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of anxiety of what we're going to do, where we're going to go, but those things aren't nearly as important at this moment as you just being present in the moment that you're in, and understanding that you have so many people who love you and support you and want to be there for you. So take it at your own pace. This new normal is your journey. It's no one else's. So allow it to be yours without feeling the pressure of what other people may feel about you or may think about you or even may say about you. This is your journey for you to walk in your path. I've met many families who have had children who have lost a parent while serving or on active duty. And as a parent, I'm also a parent, and as a parent, we worry mostly about our children. We want to take care of them. We want to make sure that they have everything that they need. We want to make sure that they're happy and that they're healthy and that they're well adjusted. I say as a parent, it took me a while to understand to take care of myself first. And if I take care of myself first, then I'm better equipped as a parent to take care of my child. That was very hard for me to understand, and it took me a while to adjust to that. But I did soon realize that when I take care of myself and I'm a healthy parent, I'm a better parent to my child. And so I would say that's probably your first step. Take care of yourself first. Also, as you're taking care of yourself, talk to your children. Talk to them as much or as little as they want. Read to them as much or as little as they want. Talk about their loved one. Talk about their father or their mother as much or as little as they want. Find ways for them to express how they feel. It could be through drawing. It could be through poetry. It could be through sports. It could be through some type of musical instrument. But however they feel best to express how they feel, find that avenue for them and allow them to freely move through that. In the beginning of my grief journey, the one thing that I wish I had known was take my time, to just breathe and take my time, to not do anything out of a panic or out of a rush or even out of anxiety. Just take my time, not make any fast or any quick decisions, but just allow things to rest in my mind before I make any decisions whatsoever. And I would encourage other people to do the same. One of the best ways to get connected to Gold Star Wives is to go to the website, www.goldstarwives.org, to get connected with other women like me, or other men. You know, we have widows and widowers, but to be connected with other Gold Star Wives, you can go to the website and get some more information on who we are and what we do and why we exist.